All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Woodwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Woodwell, here inside the Spoken Studios in my lonesome. Episode 333 is in full swing, full motion. I'm so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us. I say us as in me. Maybe I'm split personalities. I have no idea at this point, man. Whether you're live streaming, podcasting, or YouTube, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this time as we have an awesome show for you guys today. So much to get to in the world of the NFL, the world of sports, but in particular, the world of the Chiefs. So much going on, guys. And if you're wondering why my voice might sound a little nasally, I might sound like Eric Mangini, it's because I don't know what happened, but like yesterday I woke up and just shit was just getting out of my nose. Not to be too graphic, but what I'm saying is I'm glad you guys are here today, and I'm glad you guys want to hang out and talk and do the show with me, but you might want to keep your distance a little bit. Hopefully everything's sounding good in the chat. I know that I was on a show this week, and they said that the audio was a little quiet at the beginning. Let me know and confirm with me, guys, if you can. If I sound clear, if I sound precise, because I'm going to need that help today for sure. But yeah, I'm glad to see the chat's already going. We got our guys Ruben DeCruz and Dustin Orton. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the regulars. And shout out to my guys over at Stakes is High, a band, a local Kansas City band. My boy Taylor Paredes, love that man, love him to death. He's a homie. I told him I'd wear the shirt today. I went to their show this last week, got some merch. I wanted to show that off today. So shout out to Taylor, shout out to the homies over at Stakes is High. Great band. Go download their music today if you guys can. Thank you, Dustin, for letting me know in the chat. The things sound good because I am going to be going off today. Like I said, I'm in a solo act again today. Trevor and the kiddos are out of town. As you guys know, spooky season is a big thing for us Woodwells, and Trevor and the kiddos every single year take some time to go and hang out, make memories, and that's what they're doing. So wish them all the best. And Trevor will be back next week for episode 334. But guys, we have a lot to talk about for episode 333, and I need your guys' help. So if you'd be so kind, go to the YouTube, go to the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, obviously, hit notifications, obviously, hit like, obviously. But the biggest ones I need you guys to hit, the button that I need you to push the most, and the most obvious one, is the comment button. If you guys would be so kind, get in the chat, man, and let us know what you guys are thinking. Whatever questions, takes, comments, concerns, whatever you got for me today, go ahead and put that in the bad boy, what is known as the comment section. I want to hear from you guys, whatever you guys want to speak on, whatever you guys want to cook on, as the kiddos say. I would love to hear from you guys today. We'll get to as many of your guys' comments, takes, questions, concerns as much as possible. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to waste any more of your time. It is time for Lance Rants.
Gotta scream! Yeah! We're back on motion! Come on, gonna do me!
So, boy, that Sunday noon game was kind of fun, huh, guys? Do you guys have fun like I did? I had a lot of fun. See, I told Trevor, and I know you guys watched last week. If you did, you know what I'm talking about. But I told Trevor last week, I understand that this is a divisional foe that's coming into town. And, there's a lot of the things that the Chiefs are having to deal with. And we're going to get to all that in a second as well. But I told you guys that was going to be an absolute smoke out. The Chiefs were going to take care of business. They were going to make a statement in that game. That was one of the games where I really believed that the Chiefs were going to make an effort to make sure that everybody knew they're coming. They are still the class of the AFC, still the class of the NFL. And they proved that quickly, early, often, to the point where they were taking knees with over 2 minutes remaining in the game. I mean, they didn't have a single pass attempt in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes didn't take a snap in the fourth quarter. Gardner Minshew was the Chiefs quarterback for the entire fourth quarter. The Chiefs had as many first downs as the Raiders had offensive plays. That was one of the single biggest beatdowns I've ever seen in my 30-plus years of watching football. I could not. I was expecting the Chiefs to win. I had them winning 38-17. I felt like they were going to take care of business. They were going to win by 3 touchdowns. They ended up winning by 31 points, which is 4 touchdowns and a field goal. So it was even worse of a beatdown than I was expecting and anticipating. And as everyone anticipated, Rashee Rice got the ball early and often. The Chiefs made sure that they fed that man early and often. He got plenty of opportunities to score, and he ended up scoring twice. And it looked like everything I was expecting it to be once he got back. And, I cannot be more excited, guys, than seeing this man back. That's right, Rice, baby. Den. I don't want to play the music because we'll get copywritten. And I can't have that because we're not even monetized yet. And I definitely want to get demonetized before I get monetized, damn it. But yeah, that's my guy right here. I'm going to show you guys one more time. That is my Photoshop work. I hope you guys are excited about that because I thought it was pretty damn good. But that's Vanilla Rice. Rice, baby. He has returned. He hath returned. And because of that fact, Shia LaBeouf, I don't know where he's at. Can you guys get Shia LaBeouf for me? Shia, wherever you're at, Shia LaBeouf, let me know what chance did the Raiders have in that game, knowing that Rice baby was back?
0!
Thank you, Shia LaBeouf. That's the type of chance they had in this game. So this was just, like I said, an absolute fundamental beatdown by the Chiefs on the Las Vegas Raiders. And yes, obviously the Raiders are not in the same tier as the Chiefs, so we can't sit here and dance on the grave. But we can't sit here and pretend as if we didn't hear all of last season. People talking about scoring margin. Yeah, the Chiefs won 15 games, and oh yeah, they're at the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight time. But scoring margin. Well, now the Chiefs are 4-3, and they're beating. They've had what three blowouts in the last 4 games. They've blown their opponent out 3 times in the last 4 games. So I guess scoring margin isn't all that important, seeing the difference in record to this point of the season as opposed to last year. But I digress. The point I'm trying to make is that this Chiefs team is showing you guys what they can and will be at full strength. And this Raiders game, to me, was just a precursor of that. There's not a lot to really take away from that game in the grand scheme of things when it comes to, what they can do to a good opponent, because obviously they didn't face a good opponent. But what that game did show us, though, is what's to come. What the Chiefs are going to do when it matters the most. They're giving. That was, to me, that was the flare in the sky of letting everybody know, hey, we're still out here, damn it. Y'all, send us out to sea. We're still coming back to shore, and we're about to take another trophy from you guys. Everybody in the AFC started to, kind of pump their fist and pump their chest out and peacock a little bit because the Chiefs start the season 0-2, thinking it's finally their opportunities to get a chance at that Lombardi. And now 4 or 5 weeks later, look how different things are. Look, feel the vibes. You guys been hearing the way the national media is talking about things on radio and on TV and podcasts about how different the vibes are? The Chiefs aren't even in the playoff picture right now. Seriously, if the playoffs are to happen right this second, the Chiefs don't make the playoffs. They are currently 3rd in the AFC West. And yet they're the Super Bowl favorites, according to Bovada in Vegas. Patrick Mahomes is the clear-cut MVP favorite right now. Now, we can have that discussion at a later time because I don't usually talk about MVPs until usually halfway through the season. We're about there, but I usually wait till about week 9, week 10 to start really talking MVP because I feel like that's when it's actually relevant. But these are the facts. And the Chiefs have put themselves in a position now to really go on a run here, guys. I was talking to our guy, Marcus Dash, on the Chiefs Concerned podcast. I was lucky enough to be on that this week. He invited me on. The great JD, Jason Dunn, had some, family situations to tend to, and I wish them all the best, and I'm sure JD will be back on their show in no time. But I got a chance to co-host it with Marcus Dash, some of my best buds over there. They have a great show, and I hope that you guys are already subscribed to them. But that was a talking point that we had on that show, was the where things are going right now for the Chiefs and how they have this opportunity against the Raiders, and then they have this NFC opponent that we're going to talk about a little bit with the Commanders. And then after that, after this Commanders game, guys, I don't know if you guys have checked the schedule or not, but after this Commanders game, the Chiefs have only one NFC opponent remaining on their schedule. So they have not only all AFC opponents outside of that Cowboys game against the Cowboys at Thanksgiving, they have, 4 more divisional games. 2 against the Broncos, 1 more against the Chargers, and 1 more against the Raiders. So even though it sucked to lose RASHEE Rice to start the season, it wasn't ideal in that regard. What is ideal is getting him back for all of those important games. And I was telling you guys this from the beginning, that it's going to be a blessing in disguise losing RASHEE Rice when they lost RASHEE Rice. Because all the most important games for the majority of the season, he's going to be there for. That's the best part about that. So it's never ideal to play without your best, receiving option for a month and a half. But if you had to take an opportunity, if you had to sit there and pinpoint an opportunity of when you lose him, there's no better opportunity than to lose at the beginning of the season when, although, yes, the schedule was tough, the most important games coming up, like I said, 5 of your 6 divisional games, because he played the Raiders game, 5 of your 6 divisional games, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Texans, teams like that. The Cowboys and Texans may not be great or maybe on the same tier as the Chiefs, but there's going to be tiebreakers. There's going to be games that you have to win down the stretch that are going to be important for your division, for the AFC playoff seedings, things of that nature. So the Chiefs got RASHEE Rice back at the perfect time. And he's showing you guys, and this is going to be a conversation I'm going to talk about in just a minute, he's showing you guys that he's not only the right now answer at wide receiver, he's not only the right now number 1 option for this Chiefs offense, he is going to be moving forward. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But, boy, we finally got something from Andy Reid when it came to the Chiefs rookie first-round pick left tackle Joshua Simmons this week. And I want you guys to hear it yourselves. This was just 2 days ago, and this is via Matt Derrick at the press conference when Andy Reid was asked about Josh Simmons. In fact, I don't even know if he was asked. I think this is one of his initial comments because Andy Reid likes to do that, where he gives you guys information before he's even inbounding questions. But this is Andy Reid just a couple of days ago in regards to Josh Simmons.
And then Josh, and my update for you with Josh would just be, there's communication. I'm not going to get into all of it. Everything's positive. It's not a negative situation. So he's taken care of.
Was that so hard? I mean, finally, I feel like The Rock right now. Finally, we finally get some real information from Chiefs brass about Josh Simmons. Was Andy detailed in that? No. But what did Andy do right there? He gave us information that we can actually chew on. I've been saying this now for weeks, guys, since this all went down with Josh Simmons. The vagueness, the coy approach from the Chiefs, and Andy talking about, Veach is handling it, and Veach isn't taking the podium. This dance around, the beating around the bush stuff only led to further speculation from all of us. We didn't need to be in Josh Simmons' business. We didn't need Josh Simmons to come out and let us know exactly what it is he's dealing with. That is none of our business. What is our business, though, is the timeline, an idea of what exactly is happening around the situation so we can better understand, because we are invested individuals in this team. That could have been, Andy wasted 2 weeks of his time. That could have been the way he handled it from the beginning, and we're not even sitting here talking about it. The only thing we would be talking about is that we all hope that everything's going good with Josh Simmons and that we'll hope to see him back sooner rather than later. But that wasn't the conversation. And I just don't understand to this day, and I don't think I ever will, guys. I'll never understand why they handled it the way they did, by not handling it all. Andy Reid has been in this league for too damn long, and he's too damn good at what he does to fumble it like this, literally and figuratively. The Chiefs are a damn good organization. They're really good at handling situations more times than not. But unfortunately, this is one of the not. And I just felt like this could have been avoided. I felt like we could have sat here and talked about much, and then had this conversation in a much different way. Unfortunately, though, it took this long and this much time for Andy to finally understand how to properly hand this over to the media and hand this over to us, the viewing and listening audience, the fans, the consumers. It was so unnecessary. And whether you guys agree with me or not on all this, you guys know that I'm right when I say that this should have been the way they handled it from the beginning, and that way guys like me aren't even on their shows talking like this, bringing it up at all. We're just talking about, hey man, can't wait to get Josh Simmons back. Hope he's doing good. Hope his family's good, and just leave it at that. But the coyness and just the dancing around it all, and the beating around the bush, and just this close to the vest bullshit, and I'm just gonna say it like that. That's the stuff that just irks us all, because then we're like, well, we literally have no idea what's going on. We have literally no idea when he's going to return. Now that we know there's an actual timeline, we all can kind of relax and go, okay, things seem to be on the up and up. There's positive conversation being had, according to Andy Reid. That's all we need to hear. You have to alleviate the stresses and anxieties that fans feel about situations like this. And people can say that we need to chill out all these things, but you guys do understand the word fan is a shortened version of the word fanatic. Look up the definition of a fanatic. Don't sit in here and tell me that you don't celebrate and go crazy and go hard for this team every single weekend, and then pretend like this stuff doesn't matter to you, or that we shouldn't care about these things. Because I care about Josh Simmons, the person, too. I genuinely hope, and I've told you guys on the show several times now, genuinely hope that everything with him and his family and everybody involved in that situation that is not our concern is okay. But everything that goes along with his career and everything that goes with what affects us needs to be a lot more clear, and I think that's where I think Andy Reid finally got it right. There's also additional information that we got yesterday from Nate Taylor, one of the more plugged-in guys, obviously works for ESPN. This is his headline here. New story, Josh Simmons, the Chiefs rookie left tackle, is expected to rejoin the team in a few weeks. So this just basically reiterates and fortifies what Andy Reid was saying in his press conference. Do we know exactly what has been going on? No, but again, that's not really the concern. If he gets released, then obviously that's what we'll talk about. We'll react to that. But the biggest, most important part to me in all this was just seeing that Josh Simmons is going to be returning, because let's be real, guys, there was that concern, and again, it leads all through the speculation of what we don't know. There was that concern about, is he going to return? I mean, I saw it in the comments here. It entered my mind a couple times. I won't lie, because I had literally no idea what was going on. So, all in all, not to harp on it too long, but all in all, this is great news, because obviously it sounds like, Josh Simmons' affairs are either in order or about to be in order. They're getting in order, and he'll be able to get back to his career sooner than later. And it's a great thing for the Chiefs. That's great news for the Chiefs, because this is the guy that, no matter how good Jalen Moore has played, Jalen Moore is the backup. And, getting your starting left tackle back is always a great thing, especially for this team, because we know how important it is here in Kansas City. So, really excited about that. Really excited about hearing that Josh Simmons is on the up and up, man, and that he will be back with the Chiefs in a matter of weeks. So, after the Chiefs-Raiders game, I'm always mulling ideas over. I'm always trying to think about things to talk about and discuss with you guys, because that's what we do here. We create content. That's the beautiful thing about being a content creator. But, I had this tweet, and I want to hear what you guys think about it, because this is one of the first things that came to my mind when after I saw what RASHEE Rice did in this game and knowing his value to this team now and moving forward. I said, hopefully the Chiefs have an extension in place for RASHEE Rice. If you think he looked great yesterday and will continue looking great this season, wait until you see him in a contract year in 2026. Get him signed as soon as humanly possible. So soon as I posted that, I got immediate feedback, immediate reaction from a lot of people, a lot of mixed responses, and wouldn't you know it, the local media took it and ran with it and didn't mention me at all about it, but that's okay. A lot of the shows in Kansas City started immediately talking about it, coincidentally the next day, and you were hearing this become the discussion. So where I see things with the Chiefs and RASHEE Rice is, I think he's at the top of their priority list to getting signed long term. I know a lot of you guys believe that Trent McDuffie is that guy. I vehemently disagree. We've seen Brett Veach draft the quarterback position very well over the last 7 years, and I don't think that's going to change. If anything, it's going to probably get better, because with experience comes knowledge, and I think that Brett Veach is going to be an even better GM 5-10 years from now than he was 5 years ago. So I don't expect Trip McDuffie to be that guy that gets that next big payday, because with the fact that Brett Veach is so good at drafting defensive backs as a whole, one of the areas he's not been so great at drafting is the wide receiver position. Because if you look at throughout his tenure, the only two notable receivers that he's drafted has been Xavier Worthy and RASHEE Rice. And ironically, those are guys that he took with early picks. But even with that, we saw Sky Moore, a second-round pick, be an abject failure. I mean, let's just be real. So even with the investments that he's put, Brett Veach that is, at wide receiver, like he has at quarterback, we haven't seen him hit at wide receiver like he has at quarterback. So this is why you need to pay RASHEE Rice, because he's not only a rare asset that the Chiefs have been able to draft over these last several years, but he's also a star. I tweeted this out too, guys. The only wide receivers, and I'll show right now, the only wide receivers I'm taking over are RASHEE Rice without hesitation. Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, JSN is starting to really climb that ladder. If JSN continues to play the way he's been playing, where he's on pace to break Calvin Johnson's single-season receiving yards record, then this list might have to be updated. But this is my list as it currently stands. And I'm saying without hesitation. I'm not saying that there aren't other guys, because like I said, JSN, guys in that category can be guys that you can discuss. Drake London, Nico Collins. There's other names out there that we can discuss that you can say, oh, I'd take him over RASHEE. There's debatable guys. But these are the guys I'm not debating. If you were to ask me right now, hey, Lance, who would you take, RASHEE Rice or any of these five guys? I would take all five of these guys without hesitation. But that's also praise to who RASHEE Rice is. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that RASHEE Rice is one of the few guys out there that I do believe is a genuine difference maker for a franchise that is trying to win Super Bowls. Because a lot of these guys, and I'll show you this list again, Ja'Marr Chase, not on a Super Bowl contender. Justin Jefferson, currently not on a Super Bowl contender. CeeDee Lamb, not on a Super Bowl contender. Puka Nacua, definitely on a Super Bowl contender. Amon-Ra St. Brown, definitely on a Super Bowl contender. So only two of these five names are guys that are on a Super Bowl contender. RASHEE Rice is definitely on a Super Bowl contender. So he's one of those few guys, like I said, that actually plays at such a high level but isn't on a bad team. There's a lot of good receivers on bad teams. And it makes sense, because when you're a bad franchise, you get earlier picks and you get the best players, and then they end up leaving you, and you just continue to be a poverty franchise. The Chiefs need to pay RASHEE Rice this offseason, without question. I made a list on June 21st, and I said the current players that the Chiefs should pay over the next calendar year are Trey Smith, George Karlaftis, and RASHEE Rice. Well, two of those three are down, one to go. This team is going to be in a changing of the guard type of phase. Not, obviously, it's still the Mahomes era, and it's going to be for as long as Mahomes is here. But there's going to be a changing of the guard from the guys that Patrick Mahomes is going to rely on. This is, again, why I said Josh Simmons is such an important piece, because obviously Jalen Moore is really good, but Jalen Moore is that long-term answer at left tackle. That's where Josh Simmons comes in. And that's why it was such a big deal as to what was going on with him. Getting RASHEE Rice back was so important to the Chiefs, because they also needed to see, okay, if this is a dude we're going to be heavily invested in, financially, we need to know that he's going to be a guy that's going to be out there every week doing the right thing. And I understand, the conversation is going to be geared towards, well, Lance, RASHEE Rice is a guy that's had off-field issues. Can you trust him? He also he's had an ACL tear. Freak play, but it's still fair to bring it up. The way I see it is RASHEE Rice is playing it for the perfect team in this regard, because the one thing that Andy Reid has been I think he's so beloved in this league is because he's a man of second chances. I mean, Michael Vick, one of the most polarizing characters in NFL history, gets out of prison and Andy Reid has him as his starting quarterback. And Michael Vick has his best season of his career, arguably, at least from a throwing perspective. Andy Reid gave that man a second chance. We've seen Andy Reid do this time and time again with a lot of people who have been in trouble. Terrell Owens. Terrell really didn't have criminal issues, but Terrell was a nuisance. But there's, like I said, there's been several players that Andy Reid has given opportunities to that otherwise, other coaches wouldn't. Kareem Hunt came back, guys. The Chiefs didn't have to sign Kareem Hunt. I mean, obviously, losing Isaiah Pacheco kind of established it, but Andy Reid took the text from Kareem and said, I'll talk to Veach. And the next day, they gave him a workout and they signed him. He could have held on to the crap about him lying to them all those years ago. He didn't. I think Rashee Rice is a good person. I think he made a really stupid, reckless, careless decision or a series of decisions last year when he did what he did in Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's no excusing it. What he did was wrong, and he deserves everything that comes with it. He deserved a suspension. I don't know if I agree with the total of games, but he deserved to be suspended without question. He deserved to have all the civil suits and every dollar he's had to pay. I won't defend him. But I hate using the cliche, guys, but everybody makes mistakes. Some seem a little bit more severe than others, and I'll give you that. But Rashee's a free man. And he's playing football. And he's playing at a very high level, and I think he's going to continue to. He's only 25 years old. To me, he is a long-term answer for the Chiefs at wide receiver. And when drafting receivers is not your GM's strong suit, you probably should hold on to the guys that are the special ones that he found. So I started, kind of scouring the market right now for wide receivers, and here is the totals for guys, because I know we have to discuss, who his peers are. And obviously, I said Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are all guys I take over him. Well, let's look at the money they're all making. So obviously, you can't see Jamar Chase's, but it's $161 million. Then you have Justin Jefferson making $140, CeeDee Lamb $136, DK Metcalf $132. Holy hell, that's so much money for DK Metcalf. And then Garrett Wilson $130. I will go on the record and say right now, guys, I don't expect and I do not anticipate that Rashee will get this type of money. From Garrett Wilson up, I do not expect him to get that money. Because one, he's not as good as pretty much any of those guys. I think he's better than DK Metcalf. But DK is a freak, and that was a desperation move. Garrett Wilson's on a really bad team, and he doesn't get enough respect for who he is. But I think Garrett Wilson's just as good, if not better, than Rashee Rice. He's a really good player. So I get why he got the money he got. That bad franchise needed to lock up a good player while he was still young. But after that, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wouldn't be shocked if he got that kind of money like Amon-Ra St. Brown did. Now, the totals aren't the most important part. That's kind of the dressing, if you will. Let's look at the guaranteed dollars for some of these guys. So obviously, Justin Jefferson has the most total guarantees with 88.7, 73.9 for Jamar. CeeDee Lamb has 67, DK 60, Tyreek Hill 54, AJ Brown 51. These are the dollars that actually matter. And this is where the conversation is going to get really interesting. Now, if you're to ask me right now, what is my current contract extension offer for Rashee Rice? If the Chiefs were to come to me and say, "Hey, Lance, we need you to help us build these figures right now," what number would you give Rashee Rice right now? And I'm talking about right today, like in October. Rest of the season hasn't happened. What would you forecast for Rashee Rice? If I'm giving Rashee Rice a contract right now, guys, I'm giving him a 4-year deal worth $120 million for $70 million guaranteed. Now, I know that's probably freaking a lot of you guys out because that is a lot of money over a lot of years. And I understand. But see, we have to remember one key thing. Travis Kelce is either going to retire after this season or he's going to just continue to be on the steady decline. Now, he's playing really good football right now for a 36-year-old tight end, and he's been one of the better tight ends in football this season. But we all know that this dude has a limited amount of time left in this league, whereas Patrick Mahomes just turned 30 last month. Patrick Mahomes has a long runway ahead of him. Patrick Mahomes could have another 7-8 seasons of great football left in him. So you have to ask the question, how do you sustain that greatness? How do you help Patrick Mahomes while he gets further into his 30s? How do you do that? Well, I think the Chiefs have already shown us the recipe and how you do it. You continue to build your defense through the draft, stay cheap in most areas, because that's usually where you want to stay cheap as a dynasty. You don't want to be paying a bunch of players on your defensive side. And you continue to pay for offense. Josh Simmons, if everything goes well, is going to be the Chiefs' left tackle for the next decade plus. I think that Jalen Moore is probably going to be the Chiefs' right tackle next season. And him only being 27 this year, 28 years old, maybe the Chiefs work an extension with Jalen Moore. Who's to say? But they would have their offensive line locked up for at least the next few years because Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith have long-term deals. Kingsley looking like a guy that's going to be earning himself a deal, and if at worst the Chiefs just go and give themselves another left guard in the draft or a free agent that's good, that, you know, something similar to a Joe Thuney type of situation. Obviously, Joe Thuney's don't just walk around every day, but you get my point. But the Chiefs aren't paying running backs. They're not going to be paying a tight end anytime soon. They have to invest at wide receiver. I think that Xavier Worthy can be a Chief for a very long time. But Xavier Worthy's not going to be one of those guys that is ever a volume receiver. He's always going to be that dude that relies on his speed and his ability to get downfield in an open space. And those guys are always going to be valuable, especially here in Kansas City for as long as Andy Reid coaches. But RASHEE Rice has proven himself time and time again in the short amount of time he's played that he's a volume receiver, that he's a guy that you can target 10 to 15 times a game, and he's going to be that needle mover. He's going to be that guy that you can rely on. You really can't put a price tag on that. And look, man, and I'll put it up again so you guys can see it. I mean, look at the guaranteed dollars right here. Calvin Ridley making 46.9. A.J. Brown making 51. Tyreek Hill in his 30s making 54. DK Metcalf is making 60. With the market being as insane as it is, guys, I would give RASHEE Rice at 25 years old the opportunity to make really good money in at least the first 3 years. Like, you would front load the hell out of that contract. The first 3 years, make him fully guaranteed, where it puts it right around like 23.3 million per year in the first 3 years that are guaranteed dollars. So you give him, you know, you get all the guaranteed money out by the time he's 28 years old. To me, it's a slam dunk move, man. To me, it's such an easy decision to make. And I mean, I haven't really looked at the comments yet, but I imagine that you guys are, you know, I mean, I don't know where you guys are on this, but I would let me look right here. TJ, Devontae Smith, his contract is where I start with RASHEE. I can't offer him that much without the production to match yet. That's fair. I understand the production you guys want to have is there, is something you want to see. But again, if RASHEE is going to continue to do what we expect him to do this season, if he starts to have more games like he just had last Sunday, his number is going to go up. This is why I told you guys, those that want to pay Trent McDuffie, I told you guys, if you're watching the market right now, the longer this goes, the more expensive he's going to become. Because there are guys that are making way insane money that are not better players than Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And you have guys like Deron Bland making $92 million. So Trent McDuffie's base is going to start at over 100. If you look at RASHEE, if RASHEE ends up having, you know, where he averages, you know, 79 yards, 80 yards a game, and ends up with, you know, 8-9 touchdowns despite missing 6 games, what do you think his number is going to go to, guys? This is why I said that you got to get some numbers and figures in place now. Because if he has an awesome remainder of this season, Chiefs have a long playoff run, whatever happens, happens. Then next season, on a contract year, RASHEE Rice has a career year. 4 years, 120, all of a sudden becomes 4 years, 140. with 75, 80 million guaranteed at least. Because the market's going to continue to go up, guys. Because other receivers are going to continue to get paid. Sorry about that. So our guy Noah John Marshall says here, we all respect each other, but for me, clearly you got to pick McDuffie over Rice all day. It's clear. Why is that clear, though? Because, I mean, I feel like I already explained this in great detail. And maybe you guys don't agree with me, but just go and look up Chiefs draft history and tell me, of all the draft picks that Brett Veach has had as the Chiefs GM, what position has he drafted better at? Quarterback or wide receiver? Guys, in 2023, okay, in 2023, the Chiefs had, in my opinion, their best quarterback in 𝚂𝙧𝙀. I think he was the best quarterback on this team. That defense was elite. 𝚂𝙧𝙀 was one of the bigger reasons for that defense being elite. He was the one locking down wide receiver ones all season long, all playoffs long. What did the Chiefs do that following offseason? Did they give 26, 27-year-old 𝚂𝙧𝙀 a long-term deal? Because it made sense, right? Because he was an elite player that was locking down wide receiver ones, and this fourth-round pick the Chiefs found and developed into the star cornerback. They paid him, right? No. They traded him for a third-round pick. This is where the business side of things tends to make reality what it is. And this is what I've been trying to tell you guys, is that you have to stay cheap somewhere. And I would like to imagine that you guys would agree with me when I say that I would much rather them stay cheap at quarterback than wide receiver, given the fact that Veach drafts the cornerback position far better he's drafted the wide receiver position, plus the fact that we know this team's dynastic run is only going to last as long as Mahomes lasts. And I would like to imagine that you guys would want to invest monetarily at skill position on the offensive side to make sure that's maintained than overspending on quarterback when you're already drafting that so well. I mean, here we are looking at this Christian Fulton signing. We're sitting here going, man, look at this money the Chiefs just gave him. He's a healthy scratch. That makes my point. And furthermore, like I was telling our guy Marcus Dash on the Chief Concerns podcast this week, wouldn't you guys rather get the best 4 or 5 years out of a player and never have to pay him real money than pay them for what they have been and watch them gradually and maybe rapidly decline? Because we know that the quarterback position doesn't age gracefully. You don't see quarterbacks in year 9, 10, 11 having their best seasons. Darrelle Revis, Stephon Gilmore, some of the best corners of our generation. Richard Sherman. You saw the steady and rapid decline for these players once they got to be 28, 29, 30 years old. If the Chiefs were paying Trent McDuffie, they'd be paying him so he's 28, 29, 30 years old. And that to me is not ideal, especially if you're choosing between him and RASHEE Rice. There is no question I would pay RASHEE Rice over Trent McDuffie. I'm not sitting here making a debate on who the better player is. That's not the point. Because George Karlaftis isn't better than Trent McDuffie, and it was a common sense move to pay him this offseason. It was a common sense move to pay Trey Smith. Because those guys play at a position of better worth or more worth. They're more valuable players based on the position. That's what I've been trying to explain to you guys. So and we got our guy Stephen Williams with All Chiefed Up. Shout out to All Chiefed Up. Stephen Williams, I think Veach figures out a way to extend both still ascending. Okay, if he can do that, then we're having a different conversation. But then again, the question I always ask when we talk about extending McDuffie is, okay, now the ball is in your court. If you think that the Chiefs extend McDuffie, the question then becomes, where do they go cheap? Because if you look on just the defensive side alone, Chris Jones is making money for at least the next 2 seasons after this season. George Karlaftis just got his extension. It wasn't a heavy number. It pans out to making like 18-something million a year, but that's still real money that you're paying George Karlaftis. They paid Nick Bolton for 3 more years. They have Brian Cook and Leo Chenal and Jalen Watson on the end of their rookie deals, on their contract years. where are the Chiefs going to be cheap if they pay Trent McDuffie? Wide receiver? Do you guys really want to risk that? Do you guys really want to risk letting Rashee Rice walk or trading Rashee Rice away? Because that's the only option you have if you don't pay him, obviously. And if you find a way to pay Trent McDuffie and Rashee Rice, where do you go cheap? Because I've also heard many people in the chat on other shows talking about, oh, you got to go and get Quinnen Williams, or you got to get Christian Wilkins, you got to go and get another pass rusher. Do you think those guys are cheap? Those are the most expensive players of all defensive players in the league. So where do you go cheap, guys? Yeah, the cap's going to keep going up, but so does the figures for everybody else's market value. So where do you go cheap? The team's going to have to be cheap somewhere. There's going to have to be rookies playing somewhere. What better place for that to happen than the one singular position that Brett Veach drafts his ass off at? That's all I'm saying. I've told you guys in the past, if the Chiefs, if Brett Veach sucked at drafting DBs and he landed Trent McDuffie in the freakish way like he did, then yeah, you pay him. I'd be making the same arguments that I'm making for Rashee Rice, but for McDuffie, where it's like, man, he's a rare guy, and you haven't really drafted that position well. You gotta pay him. I'd be saying that, but that's not the case. So I can't hold it. I can't hold it to that regard, man. I just can't do it. But shout out to All Chiefed Up, like I said, man. I love when the Steven and Mike are in the chat, man. Those are good dudes, and they got a great show. Our guy John Harrison. It's not all Veach. I think it's Spags and Merritt's ability to coach up the DB talent they draft. Well, no question. I mean, but at the end of the day, because yeah, Spags and Merritt are obviously the best at what they do, and all credit to them for developing the players. But that kind of helps my point, though, is that Veach gives them the ingredients to cook the meal. And if I can give Spagnuolo younger, cheaper pieces to cook up a great defense on a consistent basis, as opposed to paying more expensive veteran players, wouldn't you go with door number one? Wouldn't it be responsible to go with door number one, where you save that money and you can spend the money on offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends, pieces directly around Patrick Mahomes? Wouldn't you rather go down that avenue than paying a corner, paying a linebacker, paying a defensive end, paying a defensive tackle, paying a safety? Would you rather have some rookie players to develop in that, especially to that point? Dave Merritt is literally in Kansas City, guys. One of the best secondary coaches in the entire NFL. Appreciate you, Steven. Yeah, man. You guys, like I said, ACU, man. I know a lot of you guys, a lot of our followers, a lot of our listeners, viewers come from their show. So you guys obviously know who they are and what they are. Great guys. Shout out to them. Noah John Marshall strikes back. If you don't re-sign McDuffie, then who do you reward? He's everything you ask for. Homegrown, elite position, young leader. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you view it as a reward. And again, I'm making the case that you take the money that you're presenting to give to McDuffie and you give it to Rashee Rice. That's been my whole argument the whole time. Sorry, guys. It's not an argument against McDuffie. It's an argument against the position. If McDuffie was a linebacker, if McDuffie was an edge rusher, if McDuffie was a defensive tackle, you pay him. But I can't be the only one that's watched Brett Veach handle things the way he's handled it for the last 7 years. It took Brett Veach 7 years to finally pay a cornerback, and it was Christian Fulton. And how's that gone? Like, Trent McDuffie is great right now. But is Trent McDuffie going to be great 3 years from now? I don't know. It's a very volatile position. 1 year, guy looks great. Next year, not so great. Injuries, things like that start to tally up. Now, again, McDuffie's been really good, but McDuffie's also waiting for a big payday. And as these guys get older, especially undersized corners, as they age, they don't age gracefully. I know you guys don't want to hear that. You guys don't want to hear that from me. I get that. But these are the facts. The best of all time. Look at how they aged. Darrelle Revis was not a great corner into his 30s. Stephon Gilmore has not been a great corner into his 30s. That's the whole point I'm trying to make, guys. And again, Brett Veach has shown us his intent on how he intends to continue to build this roster. It is not by paying corners an exorbitant amount of money. And again, what was stopping them from paying Trent McDuffie this offseason? Why was there no zero? It's as quiet as it was with L'Jarius Sneed. We have not heard a single reporter come out and say the Chiefs and Trent have been in discussions about a long-term deal. We're not seeing those articles. And even when Trent McDuffie himself was asked the question, what did he say? I'm just focused on the season, just, worried about football. It's all in front of you guys. And again, maybe I'll be wrong and they do pay Trent McDuffie. But I don't think that's the right move, and I deep down don't think that's the Chiefs. The Chiefs believe that's the right move. Because they have money to spend elsewhere, and that's been the entirety of my conversation here as to why I feel the way I feel about this. You guys are live in the chat. I love it, man. Keep this coming, guys. This is good stuff. I'm trying to get to all your guys' comments as much as I can. But yes, as I said, if I'm giving Rashee Rice a contract, and I would, with 100%, no hesitation, give Rashee Rice a long-term deal. I'm looking at 4 years, $120 million, $70 million guaranteed. It's a steep price. It's a big number. But it's funny to me, the pushback, if there's any pushback on this idea, because the last couple of weeks, all I heard was how excited and ecstatic Chiefs fans were that Rashee Rice was returning. Why would you be excited about a player that you don't think is a guy that can be a long-term answer like this? Like, what would be the reason for that type of anticipation? Unless it's a dude that you know deep down is a real difference maker, is a real star. That's kind of my point, guys, is that I think that Rashee Rice is more valuable than some of us want to realize or want to accept. And if we're being honest here, he is more valuable than guys like Trent McDuffie. That's not a knock on Trent. That's praise to Rashee Rice. Because you saw what the offense did and what they looked like with Rashee on the field. That's going to continue. The Chiefs won Super Bowls with mediocre cornerbacks. They won a Super Bowl in 2019. I think their best cornerback was, Bashaud Breeland? Some middle-tier journeyman veteran. That they won a Super Bowl with that. I fully anticipate that if McDuffie, they're to move off McDuffie, they're to move off Jalen Watson, Brett Veach would adequately and immediately replace them with good young players. And again, I said this when they traded up for Noel Williams. I think he's the future of that cornerback room. I think he's the guy that they're going to build around for the next 2 to 3 years. Because he's that dog. He's that dude that's got that ball hawk skill set. And I think that's the kind of guy you want in your defense more. Our guy John Harrison strikes with this one. McDuffie has the 5th-year option. He's signing through 2026 unless he doesn't show up, which would be a mistake. Yeah, that's true. But see, this is also where the Chiefs have the leverage for trading him plays into this one. So they have the 5th-year option next season. I think it's like $13 million. John, you would know better than me. That gives another team more incentive to trade for him. Instead of the Chiefs letting him play out that contract and then maybe franchise tag him or something like that after 2026. The Chiefs can say, hey, listen, McDuffie's still got a year left on his rookie deal, only $13 million. You have, basically a free year before you guys would have to pay him if you didn't, if you want to pay him. That gives the Chiefs more incentive to ask for a higher return value. I think the Chiefs can get a first-round pick out of Trent McDuffie in a trade. I genuinely do. Because although he may not have the same value here in Kansas City, like I think, when it comes to long-term deals, there are other teams out there that don't have Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. They don't have the infrastructure the Chiefs do. So the value for McDuffie elsewhere would be a lot higher. That's why you saw the Chiefs let Charvarius Ward walk. And then he got himself a $50 million deal with the 49ers. That's why the Chiefs traded L'Jarius Sneed, got a 3rd-round pick in return, because the Titans valued him more for their situation. The Chiefs have done this several times already, guys. So don't be shocked if and when it happens again with Trent McDuffie. Like I said, I think the Chiefs are getting the best 4 years of McDuffie's entire career. If I was to make a bet and say, okay, Trent McDuffie's going to play 11, 12, let's say 12 years. He's going to play 12 years in the NFL. Which third of his career is going to be the best third of his career? To me, there's no question. It's the first 4 seasons of that career. And those first 4 years, the Chiefs have him on a rookie deal. It makes the most sense. You never have to pay him. You get the best 4 years of his entire career. You win a multitude of Super Bowls. He helps you do that. And then you move forward and let someone else pay him the bill. And you just keep the recycling going at the cornerback position. I know it's uncomfortable, but it makes a lot of sense, guys. And I hope that you guys see it eventually, because Brett Veach has been trying to tell us for quite some time now. You know what I want to do? I want to transition, because I want to get to you guys, and I want to answer some questions and get to you guys as much as I possibly can. I want to talk about this Chiefs Commanders game, because I know this one's a little for a Monday Night Football game. It's not that exciting, and I know that a lot of you guys are fully anticipating, just like I am, that the Chiefs are going to win this game. And I'll just go ahead and give you guys a spoiler alert. I fully believe the Chiefs are going to win this game. Fully anticipate the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to win this game. We can give context in a second, but I want to go to the injury report, and I want to kind of build from there. So this is the Chiefs' current injury report. Looks like Trey Smith's back spasms they got better according to reports, but not good enough to where he's been able to practice. I'm going to go ahead and say that Trey Smith's probably going to miss this game, and Caliendo's going to fill in again. This sucks because Trey Smith, to this point of his career, has played 74 of his 75 career possible games. He's started 74 of 75 games. Missed a game in 2022 due to a pectoral injury. So it's been since 2022 that he's missed a game. He's been very versatile, and this just sucks to see. Obviously, Josh Simmons is not going to play this week. Kareem Hunt will play, according to reports. He did sit out in practice on Thursday. He was limited on Friday, but they said they were just giving him rest. He's a veteran, so they don't need him. But everybody else should be good to go on this one. So it looks overall pretty damn good for the Chiefs. The Commanders, on the other hand, is a little bit of a different story. They don't have their starting quarterback, who is a star in this league, in Jaden Daniels. He will be out with that hamstring injury. This is the second injury he's already had this season, which really sucks to see and should be cause for concern for Commanders fans. Darren Payne doesn't look good, man. Honestly, from everything I was hearing as well, that toe has not gotten better. Didn't practice Thursday or Friday. I don't think he's going to go. That's going to be a big loss for the Commanders because they don't have a great pass rush as it is. And it looks like he will be out, and it looks like their leading pass rusher as well is going to be out as well. So things aren't looking too good for the Commanders from the health perspective. And they've had kind of an up and down season to this point. I think they have a hell of a good coaching staff. It does look like Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. Curtis Samuel. Looks like Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are going to play in this game, which is a good thing, obviously. But when you're playing with your backup quarterback who's not known to make good throws downfield, that's what it's going to require to beat a team like the Chiefs. I really do have to wonder and beg the question how much it's really going to matter to have those guys in the field. Obviously, they're skilled. They're great players. So it helps the Commanders just by name recognition alone. But this, look, man, I was on the show Chief Concerns Marcus Dash this week, just a couple of days ago. And Marcus asked me the question, basically, like, what is, something to be concerned about in this matchup, if anything at all? Because everybody's wondering, the Chiefs just going to blow them out. It's going to be a repeat of the Raiders game. What do you expect in this one, Lance? I am fully anticipating the Chiefs are going to beat the Commanders pretty soundly. I think that the matchup's just not there for the Commanders at all. The Chiefs being fully stocked up on offensive weapons, their defense healthy for the most part. Not having Josh Simmons sucks, but Jalen Moore's been pun intended, more than good enough to help this team down the road for as long as he needs to. This guy's becoming a proven commodity week by week. Given all those factors, the Chiefs would have to come out there and play a really, really bad game for this one to be really close, let alone a loss. I'm not anticipating that. I think the way the Chiefs are going to handle this one is going to be a little bit different, though, than the Raiders game. I think the Chiefs, and as I told Marcus Dash, I'll say it here, I think the Chiefs are going to use this game as a tune-up to get prepared for the rest of the schedule. Because as I said earlier in the show, the only NFC opponent the Chiefs have left after this game is the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. After that, it is all AFC opponents. And 4 of their 6 divisional games are down this stretch as well. I think they use this Commanders game as a tune-up, as an opportunity to work on some things they might need to work on. The coach staff, maybe the coaching staff is noticing some trends they don't like on the offensive or defensive and special team side of things, and they're going to utilize this game. I'm not saying they're not going to take the Commanders seriously. I do. But I think they're going to come out there and try to get this game over with as soon as possible so they can continue to work on some of these things. I think you're going to see a very intentionally aggressive script out the gate, where Patrick chucks the ball downfield. Like I wouldn't be surprised is on the maybe his first throw of the game, it's a play action deep bomb to Tyquan Thornton or Xavier Worthy for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like we're just out the gate, 65-yard touchdown. To just kind of get that lead, give your defense a little bit, get the crowd going, get your defense some confidence, before they even touch the field, because I fully expect that the Chiefs will defer if they win the toss. But I fully anticipate that the Chiefs are going to go out there, and for the first two plus quarters, they're going to try to put it on the Commanders. And I think they will, because the Commanders just don't have a good – you just saw it, man. The first game back for CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys hung 44 on this defense. This is not a very good Commanders defense. And I like Dan Quinn a lot. I just don't think they have the Jimmies and Joes to justify the X's and O's. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs go up probably very early, like 21-3, 24-6, something like that, and they're just kind of coasting for the rest of the game. I really believe that. I don't think this is going to be one of those, 42-10 kind of games. I mean, it could be. Those are fun. Marcus and I were talking about that, about how fun those games are, because we all love watching the Chiefs blow out teams. We all love watching Patrick Mahomes have these 5 touchdown games. I think Patrick's probably going to have at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. He'll probably have 250 to 300 yards. But I think what the Chiefs are going to be focusing on in this game is just getting some stuff right and getting prepared for this stretch that's coming down the pike. Because look at their next 3 games after this one against the Commanders, guys. They go to Buffalo, then a bye week. Then they go to Denver, and then they host the Colts. Those are very important games. Now, I don't think that any of those 3 teams are better than the Chiefs, but all 3 of them right now have better records than the Chiefs. The Bills are 4-2, Chiefs are 4-3, so whatever. The point I'm trying to make, though, is those are the important games for the Chiefs. Those are the ones that they're getting prepared for. I don't believe in trap games for the Chiefs. I don't believe in trap games at all, personally, but especially for the Mahomes era. So I don't think they're going to overlook the Commanders. I don't think they're going to roll the ball out there and say, all right, we're just going to beat you. The Commanders are going to come here and fight. But I fully anticipate that the Chiefs are going to say, okay, let's get an early lead and let's just make this game into something that we can get, kind of utilize to prepare for our next, 4 or 5 opponents. Where I see this game potentially, what I see that can potentially worry me in this matchup is if, let's say, the Chiefs come out a little sluggish, a little slow offensively, and they don't put away the Commanders. And then Marcus Mariota gets those legs going. Because of one thing we know about the Chiefs' defense, and something they've definitely struggled against, is making quarterbacks' legs look real good. I mean, shit, Trevor Lawrence looked like, Michael Vick with a blonde wig on a couple of weeks ago. I could fully anticipate that, Marcus Mariota, who's actually known to run the ball at a high level and very successful, being a freak athlete he's been, I could see him extending those types of drives with his feet. And the worst thing is allowing a road team to take the crowd out early. It's like a 3rd and 11, and Marcus Mariota runs for 16 yards. And then the crowd's like, damn, and they get quiet. And it gives that team a little bit of belief. Hey, man, because deep down, even with the coaches and everything all week long saying, nobody believes in you guys. You're like 13-point underdogs. We're a Monday Night Football at Arrowhead. No one expects us to win. We got to go out there. They're going to do the whole thing, right? But even with all that said and done, these guys deep down going, shit, we're probably going to get our cheeks clapped today, man. This is going to probably suck. My family's going to be watching. It's going to be national TV. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be all that going on. What you don't want to do is give that team any hope where they could say, hey, we could win this one, guys. Like, it's 7-7 going into the, halftime. Holy shit. Like, we could play our game. We could, like, run the ball a lot. And, Marcus Mariota could do his thing with his feet. That's the only scenario I see this game being close, let alone a chance for a brutal upset, is if the Chiefs do that, where they come out the gate not playing good football offensively and they get sluggish or have a stupid turnover or, whatever the case is. And we've seen happen before. And they give Marcus Mariota, this ragtag team, some real hope and confidence on the road. That's the only way I see it happening. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's the only way. If I was to give you guys a score prediction, well, actually, let me say my key players in this one. Even though the Commanders don't have a really good pass rush, in fact, it might be bad, especially with the banged up players they have, it's going to be very important to let Patrick Mahomes be able to do what he does and build off the confidence he's been having these last few weeks. More than likely, not having Trey Smith out there is going to suck, so Caliendo is going to have to bring his A game as a backup. We saw Nick Allegretti, when Joe Thuney went down a couple of years ago, play some damn good football. In fact, he played damn good football in that Super Bowl. And did what he did, got himself paid with ironically, the Commanders. We need to see Caliendo have his Allegretti game. That's what we need to see from Caliendo in this one. So he's a key player for me in this one. And I would say that this game, for me, adequate pressure is going to be so important. Getting Marcus Mariota on the ground is going to be so important. And I think that George Karlaftis needs to finally have that game. What kind of game am I talking about? I'm talking about a game where he's the reason why the defense looks so good. He's paid to be a difference maker, and it's about time he starts playing like it. I love George. I'm a big believer in him. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's still really young. I think he's only, 23, not even 24 yet. Regardless, he's got his extension. He's got his money. Let's start getting those results, man. Start getting in the sack column more often. Wreak some havoc, man. Take some pressure off Chris Jones. That's what I would say. If I was to give you guys a score prediction, I would say that it's going to be probably something around 27 to 30 points for the Chiefs. Like I said, I think they're going to try to get an early lead, a comfortable lead, and just kind of coast for the rest of the game and just kind of run the ball, work on some stuff, maybe some dump-off screens, things like that, and kind of honestly make the game a little boring to the point where Troy Aikman and Joe Buck starts to hate the Chiefs even more, and that's going to be hilarious for me because I love the taste of those bitches' tears. So I will say probably something around, I'll say right now, I'll give the Chiefs 30 points. I'll say 30 to 13. Yeah, I'll say right now, and I'll reserve the right to change it before Monday night. But I'll say right now today how I'm feeling. 17-point victory feels good. I'll say 30 to 13. But let's get to you guys, man, because I've been hogging up the mic all damn day. It's time for Speak It, man. Let's get to you guys because I know that you guys have been wanting to get more time on the show, and I apologize for that. So let's see here. Let's see. What do you guys want to talk about? What's some question you guys have? All right, so let's go back to Norwood John Marshall. Speak it. Is KC going to trade for a defensive tackle? What about Wilkins as a free agent? What would you give up for a legit defensive lineman like a Jalen Williams in Miami, for example? This D-line worries me. So I think you're talking about Jalen Phillips, if I'm not mistaken. I had this talk with Marcus Dash on Chief Concerns this week as well. I think there are some really realistic guys. There's some really unrealistic guys. Jalen Phillips is definitely one of the realistic guys. I think that is something the Chiefs would exercise. I think if they get an opportunity to get a guy like him, they will do it. I do have worries about his injury concerns. The dude's missed 22 games of the last 2 years due to an ACL and an Achilles tear. Is he a real difference maker? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Is Jalen Phillips a real difference maker? I don't know if he is. So I'm going to say that's probably not my favorite off the top. I think Colin Saunders, a return from Colin Saunders from the Jaguars is very possible as well. And I think he's only making around 1.7 in total, 1.7 million in total this year. The Chiefs wouldn't have to pay probably more than half of that. So look for Colin Saunders as well. A guy that I would give anything for, and I mean literally, I would give up a first-round pick for, is if there's any way the Chiefs could convince the Jets to give up Quinnen Williams. Now, his contract's heavy, so I don't know if the Chiefs would be able to fit that, and probably wouldn't. But if there was any way for that to happen, Brett Veach would get I'd have to build him a statue outside of Arrowhead myself. But yeah, I would say Jalen Phillips, Colin Saunders. I know that my guy, Marcus Dash, loves Calais Campbell. He's 39. I have a lot of worries about that, but if they were to give up a 7th-round pick for him, I would definitely welcome it. Christian Wilkins is probably the best overall opportunity for the Chiefs on paper. Let me go ahead and clarify that, because we don't know the extents of what happened and why the Raiders were so willing to walk off him after just giving him that extension. Damn good player too. I know that they wanted him to do things a certain way with his foot injury, and he didn't want to do it that way. But there was also some weird stuff that was going on in the locker room as well that no one seems to want to talk about. As I told Marcus on the Chief Concerns show, if everything comes out and the Chiefs are comfortable with Christian Wilkins and they don't think it's too weird to what he dealt with, and he is healthy, which does sound like he is, then that's the move they need to make, because you don't have to trade anything for him. You won't have to pay him anything either, because the Raiders are still paying that contract. I think that's the guy you go and get. So that's my stance on it, bro. We'll see where they go, but I do definitely expect someone to be in town, whether it's a trade or a signing. The Chiefs are going to bring somebody in the defensive line. Our guy Dustin Orton, speak it. Who is the next head coach being fired this season? Boy, there's some candidates. This week's going to tell us a lot as to who is next. As crazy as this sounds, I don't think it's going to be Mike McDaniel. I think that him and their owner, Steven, what his freaking name is, Stephen Ross or whatever his name is, they have like a really good relationship. So I think that I think obviously Mike McDaniels could get fired. I just don't know if it's going to be during the season. I just don't get that vibe yet. Maybe I'll be wrong. But I am starting to feel that tension growing with Kevin Stefanski and the Browns. I think that's one definitely to look at. I think that's the guy that you might want to look at. And surprisingly enough, what about Jonathan Gannon with the Cardinals? Like, there's been some weird stuff going on where, he hit his player and they're not getting any better. The whole Kyler Murray thing's happening, and Kyler Murray might be gone after this season. Like, maybe Jonathan Gannon too. Like, watch for him as well, dude. Those are guys I'm definitely looking at and paying attention to. But this week's going to be the revealer for sure when it comes to what's going to happen. All right, let's see here. What else? What other question you guys have? Let's get to some questions here, man. Sorry if I sound so stuffed up, guys. That's because I am. Been dealing with something like a head cold the last 24 hours or so. Hopefully it'll get the hell off me, because I don't like it. It sucks. I don't usually ever get sick either, man. That's the thing. I get sick like maybe once every couple of years. I'm just such a healthy person, Like, if Whole Foods was a person, you're looking at them. Not a lot of questions in the chat, guys. You guys have been live as hell, man. I appreciate it. You guys have definitely had some conversation. But that's okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that this is going to be a week to kind of really reveal where people stand, because, I mean, look at that Bills-Panthers game. That's an interesting one, man. The Bills are obviously road favorites, but the Panthers are 4-3, and the Bills have not been playing good football. They are coming off a bye week, but it's on the road against a foe in the Panthers that can run the ball better than pretty much anybody else out there. I mean, for instance, I was just looking it up earlier today. So let's find it real quick. Damn it. I really don't like some of the stuff that my phone does. iPhones are funny sometimes, man, the way they segment your photos, your photographas. I don't know, let me get out of it. So the Panthers, I think, are averaging like 170 rushing yards right now. Rico Dowdle has been nuts. He's been unbelievably awesome. And screw it, I can't find it. So the Bills have one of the worst rush defenses in the league, I think, outside of the Dolphins. And they're facing a team that can run the ball really well. And the Panthers are very confident. They're a very confident bunch, man. That game against the Cowboys told me a lot about this team. I mean, Bryce Young hasn't even played good football. They're 4-3, which is why Bills fans should be even more concerned, because Andy Dalton's taking this game over. And I think for a game like this, Andy Dalton would be the better option. So yeah, that's definitely a game to watch. I actually think the Cowboys are going to beat the Broncos. The Broncos defense is very overrated to me. They've been pushed around a lot and given up a lot of points this season when they faced just decent offenses. The Cowboys have one of the best offenses in the league, and I think Dak's playing like an MVP. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens being out there together, along with Javonte Williams, who's having a resurgence in his career. I think the Cowboys are. I think they're going to go to Denver and beat them. Let's get. Oh, we got some questions here. I think. Let's see here. Speak it. That's over our guy James T. Kirk. All right, what up, James? James T. Kirk. Speak it. If the Chiefs win on Monday night, Buffalo next week, will you troll that clown Jason McIntyre on X? Well, here's the problem about that, James T. Kirk, is that Jason is what they call a pussy. And he blocked me on Twitter because he can't handle what he put himself into, which is my grips. I posted a video a couple of years ago, I don't know if you guys remember it, but after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, Jason McIntyre liked to pretend like there weren't an abundance of media members that were out there claiming that the Chiefs wouldn't make the playoffs that year and they would finish last in their own division. And I went ahead and made that nice little compilation, about 5 minutes worth, of people from ESPN, Fox, Independence, like The Ringer and stuff like The Athletic, that had people on video saying the Chiefs were going to miss the playoffs. They were going to finish last in their division. And I'm talking about, you had anywhere from James Jones to Bart Scott, which I know everybody loves here. Kevin Wildes from First Things First. Chris Broussard from First Things First. What's his name? The dude with the fake teeth. Looks like a row of urinals in his mouth. Will Compton from Bussin' with the Boys. All of them. And McIntyre decided to block me because I made that compilation of him saying that and then posting that video. So he's a sensitive little bitch. And no, I don't. I'm not going to give him the energy because he doesn't deserve it. And quite frankly, he's not even going to see it. But I might post something. I might do a little thing or two just to have fun with you guys. So stay tuned because it'll be fun. All right, Noah John Marshall said this on top of Speak It. Assuming the things keep rolling, big if Borgonzi in Tennessee is gonna want to hire Nagy. If you are him, would you take it? I know money is big, but otherwise is bad franchise and roster. Okay, so this is a good question, but hear me out on this, man. If you are offered a head coaching job in the NFL, you have to take it. Unless you are a prized commodity, like with the whole Ben Johnson thing. We heard about the Chargers, we heard about other teams that were looking at him a couple years ago, and he wasn't feeling them. If you're a guy like Ben Johnson who had a great job and you're this prized commodity, then yeah, you have some leverage. But see, here's the thing about Matt Nagy. As much of a fan as I am of him, and as much as I defend him about his previous tenure in Chicago being a head coach, he's not the same. He's not that same tier that Ben Johnson was, because Ben Johnson was the dude that was calling those plays in Detroit. Like, we knew that was Ben Johnson's offense. We know that this is Andy Reid's offense in Kansas City. So Matt Nagy doesn't get that full credit, even though Andy will try to tell you it is. We all know it's Andy Reid's offense. So I don't think it's going to be the same type of situation. So I say all that to say that Matt Nagy has to take this job if it's offered to him. If he gets an opportunity to be a head coach of this league, him saying no to it would just be irresponsible. You have to take that job. So yes, I think Matt Nagy takes it for the money. He takes it for the opportunity. Take it for whatever you want, man. Just the fact is, you have a head coaching job opportunity and another franchise wants you, you'd be a moron not to take it. All right, so our Super Devil Juice says, speaking, who will be the Chiefs' quarterback one next season? Well, this is a good question here, Super Devil Juice. Can I call you SDJ for short? Because IDK. I really don't know. I will say, if you're to ask me to predict it, I think it's going to be Noah Williams. There's a reason the Chiefs traded up 10 spots to get this dude. And then they paid Christian Fulton over $20 million. In the same offseason, they didn't pay Trent McDuffie. I'm just speaking the facts here, guys. You guys asked me to speak it, we speak it. And I'm letting you guys know right now, this is what happened this offseason. They traded up 10 spots in the third round to get Noah Williams, and they paid Christian Fulton a real contract for 2 years with $23 million in total dead cap. That's no cap. They could have paid Trent McDuffie instead. They didn't. So I think it's going to be Noah Williams and a collection of guys. Maybe they get Jalen Watson on a short-term extension, small amount of money, like a 2-3 year deal worth, $6-7 million a year. Maybe they do that with Jalen Watson because he's been a good player, still young enough. We'll see. Our guy John Harrison doesn't have a question, but he answers. To answer your question, Bills and Panthers are two of the best running teams, but Carolina has 7th best defense overall. Buffalo's 31st against the run. Should be interesting. Thank you, John. I was trying to look up the stats that I pulled off of First Things First, but for whatever damn reason, my phone doesn't have the I'm trying to find the pictures that had that, and I'm not seeing them. I don't know where the hell that went. Sorry, guys. Try not to die in front of you. But there was there was some pictures that I know I just took them too. Let's see, collections, show all. There we go. Maybe that'll show it. Oh. Albums. I feel like an old man right now. I don't know where to look at my phone, guys. Help me. Let's see here. Nope, not seeing them. Well, that sucks. Anywho, yeah, so that's gonna be an interesting matchup. Like I said, there's some really interesting matchups this week. Cowboys, Broncos, was it Bears, Ravens? That's gonna be a fun one. I actually think the Bears are gonna win that one. Lamar Jackson, we don't even know if he's gonna play yet. And definitely this Panthers Bills game. Those are some good fun games to watch. Mac 10 jumps in. Spigot, with the loss of Norman Lott, do we now get defensive line depth and not trade for a running back because Pacheco has been better and Hunt and Smith have been decent, or still trade for Hall or Kamara? Well, let me just go ahead and be anticlimactic here. They're not going to trade for Breece Hall. They're not going to trade for Devon Achane. I don't think they're going to trade for Alvin Kamara either, because I think that, yes, the Chiefs are going to convince themselves they have enough at running back, even though I don't agree. Primarily, I'm looking at the big picture. Right now, yes, I think the running back is fine, but you're relying on Isaiah Pacheco to stay healthy, which is not a reliable thing to do. Kareem Hunt is older and is not the guy that you want to make as the bell cow. He's your situational running back. And Rashard Smith, although showing a lot of promise, is more of that change of pace, third down receiving back. He's not a bell cow back that's going to run the ball 15 to 20 times. I would like to see the Chiefs add a running back to the situation. I think they're going to 100% add a defensive lineman to the situation. Who that's going to be is a great question because, like I said, I think the Chiefs, if they had their druthers, they would say, well, let's not trade for somebody. Let's just go sign Christian Wilkins. And if everything clears where he's not, some Diddy freak, then yeah, we're not talking about him in a weird way, and he's a contributor to this team. We'll see. But yes, I definitely think that somebody on the defensive line is going to get signed. Kevin Capel. Well, hold on. Guy Super Devil Juice says something else. Sounds like you're saying they might draft a bunch of CB's next draft. Would they still draft DT first pick? I think it really depends on the value that's still sitting there wherever the Chiefs draft. I've seen already early mock drafts. Our guy Matt Lane from KCSN has the Chiefs drafting a corner first. It's probably because just the value there. But I would imagine, yes, the priority is to get defensive line first and foremost. Kevin Capel, how long can the Broncos stay in first place with terrible quarterback? Not long. It's not going to last long. Like I said, I think they've gotten away with beating some really bad teams and teams that are playing poorly. I mean, the Giants literally donated that victory to them last week. That was just pathetic. 19-0 going into the fourth quarter, you lose 33-32. Like I don't even know how that happens. So it's not going to be very much longer. The Broncos are frauds. They're going to show us all that. Guy James T. Kirk, Spigot, Tua's a disaster quarterback. How do you think Tyreek feels about all that shit he talked about Tua's talent? I think that there's a lot of things in Tyreek's life that he's probably not enjoying right now, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Tyreek Hill made a bed, and that bed is on fire right now, and he's currently laying in it. So it is not very good for Tyreek Hill right now. And yes, Tua is a disaster. Tua is not only a bad quarterback in most regards, he's also a bad leader. There's a guy that calls out the leadership of the team when he is literally the leadership of the team. I would never, in my wildest dreams, imagine Tua Tagovailoa being my quarterback at any point. John Harrison says, Bills have been giving up 156 rushing yards. Only Miami is worse. See, that's what I was saying. They have an ass defense, especially the run game, and that is what the Panthers' offense is really good at. Rico Dowdle has been awesome, and I think Chuba Hubbard is going to be back, if I'm not mistaken, too. So if they have that two-headed monster in the back, dude, the Panthers might pull that game off. James T. Kirk's back at it. Last question for me. Speak it. I shop at Whole Foods too. What's your opinion on their pizza? My family thinks it's the very best in Fresno. Well, I can't give you my honest opinion on Fresno pizza, but I can say that I have often enjoyed the fine cuisines of the Whole Foods bakery area because they have a pizza section that is fire, literally fire bricks. Yes, I've never had a complaint with Whole Foods pizza. I've absolutely loved it in my time of going to Whole Foods. And like I said, I am a healthy person, so I only eat at places like that. Just kidding. I usually eat pretty terribly. Well, I've gotten better at it. So maybe I need to go to Whole Foods. But that is looks like the majority of the questions so far, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick this one out and get to our last segment today. But before I say it, thank you guys so much, man. The chat's been on fire today. We've had a ton of viewers today. These solo acts are always more interesting because I don't have the bounce back effect with Trevor and I. But you know they've had themselves a nice little weekend, man. They deserve that. Trevor works hard. The kids are great kiddos. Proud that they're my niece and nephew, and I'm glad they got to do that, man. So shout out to Dustin Orton saying Lance, what's on your head? Oh, okay. So that says human. I'm just stating a fact in case anybody was wondering. I am in fact human. That's what I just want to let you guys know. So thanks for asking. And our guy Noah John Marshall, excellent show, Lance. Thank you so much, bro. It's only a great show because you guys were here. I appreciate all the conversation, all the bounce back and forth, man, from you guys to me and me to you. So it makes this thing great, man. And I really do appreciate you guys. So thank you, Noah John, for getting in the chat with me today and making the show fun, dude. Because I was in here on my lonesome. And it wasn't fun in my lonesome. You guys made it fun, though. You guys definitely joined me today. Like I said, keep a distance because I'm still kind of stuffy. And I don't want to spread that to anybody else. I'm not a spreader. So, anyway, thank you guys again. Shout out to you, James T. Kirk. Thank you for being here. Love you, brother. Dustin Orton, great show. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. CC, man, I had so much fun this week with Chief Concerns. It's never a good thing to not have JD on the show. But when they ever need me, man, I'm always there for them. Those are my brothers. Love those guys over Chief Concerns. Definitely subscribe to their channel if you guys can. So with that said, it is time for Hold This L. Each and every episode, we finish up every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you, who's ever holding L's in the world of sports, deserve those L's in the world of sports. So we know that it's been a tasking week for the NBA reporters, Shams Charania and Pablo Torre, by the way, W to him. Dude's become a full-fledged investigator. He used to be one of my favorite on-screen talents when he would fill in, when he'd do Around the Horn and shows like that. But this dude has become a full-fledged reporter, so shout out to him for exposing some of the crap that's been going on in the illegal gambling aspect with the NBA, and looks like it's more to come for sure. My L is not for the NBA or their reporters or anybody of that sort. We know they've had a tough week. And it just almost feels like Adam Schefter decided to say, you know what? Hold my beer. Because this is him just yesterday on NFL Live.
Adam, what are the expectations for Mariota heading into Monday night against the Chiefs?
Well, Laura, he started in Kansas City before starting a playoff game and beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
What? I remember watching that game, and I'm pretty sure Alex Smith was the starting quarterback for the Chiefs that day, right, guys? In fact, I remember that so vividly because I was the guy that, to this day, said that I would die on the hill that if Patrick Mahomes was the starting quarterback in the game, the Chiefs not only beat the Patriots the next week, but get to the AFC Championship. I will die on that hill, by the way. But according to Adam Schefter, he thinks that Patrick Mahomes played that game because he was so confident in saying that Marcus Mariota's already beaten Patrick Mahomes. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage one more time.
Adam, what are the expectations for Mariota heading into Monday night against the Chiefs?
Well, Laura, he started in Kansas City before starting a playoff game and beat Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
This is the most plugged-in reporter in the NFL. He doesn't know that that's not true? This is the kind of stuff that makes me feel much better about myself and the opportunities I may have in the future in this business because I feel like I'm more informed than Adam Schefter. Holy shit. Regardless, No, that's not what happened, Adam. Yes, I guess technically Adam's right because Patrick Mahomes was on the roster, but Patrick Mahomes had 0 snaps in that game. So it doesn't really count, Adam. It doesn't count. So I'm going to go ahead and say, Adam, do me a solid for that half-truth and hold this L, because that was absolutely terrible, bub. I don't know how you got through the production meetings and all that fun shit and said, yeah, I'm still going to go with that one. Nobody decided to check Adam Schefter at ESPN when, yes, Marcus Mariota already beat Patrick Mahomes. No, that's not true. Not at all, in fact. But nice try. So that is the show for today. And I am, like I said, very humbled, very pleased, very grateful by each and every one of you guys for joining the show, joining the chat today. It goes without saying, man, that this is the what I look forward to every single week. And you guys can literally be doing anything you want on your Saturdays. You decide to come and chill with me and Trevor and the entire Spoken crew every single week to talk football. And I don't take it lightly. I don't take your guys' time lightly at all. That's why I always try to make sure you guys know that this is just as much your platform as it is mine. And I hope you guys always know that. So we are very much excited for this this upcoming game. I know, like I said, it's not a great matchup, an ideal matchup. It should be a game the Chiefs take care of business. And like I said, there's a lot of big games to discuss moving forward. We got the Bills game next week, a bye week, take a little breather, and then they're right into Broncos country. And they're going to ride. But we'll talk about that another time. In the meantime, again, thank you guys all for being a part of the show. You guys all contribute. This is a community-driven show. We don't talk at you. We talk with you. And we very much appreciate if you guys joined us on the YouTube side of things. Hit subscribe, hit notify, hit share, hit likes, hit all that stuff. And get in the comments every single week. You guys are what drives the show. You guys are what makes the show fun. And I would not do it if you guys were not a part of it. So with that, for Trevor Twiddle, who's on the outskirts right now with the kiddos enjoying their Halloween season, for the great Clay Weather, puts everything on the back end of things. Guys, by the way, go to Red Tribe Cinema and watch the new episode of Return of RASHEE. Clay continues to do great work over there at Red Tribe, guys. There's nothing short of amazing. I've enjoyed every second of this video. I've watched it twice. Definitely go watch that if you guys can. I appreciate every single one of you guys for the support. And until we are here in 1 week's time talking about the Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills, or right now the Buttfalo Bills, because they ass. We out of this bitch. You guys have a great Saturday, a great weekend. Talk to you soon.